Hello, everyone. Joseph Turch, Southeastern School District Digital Learning Coordinator. I have a few teachers from the Southeastern Middle School building. We're here today just to have a quick conversation. We want to talk about something new, at least to our district, and new to some of the education circles with the idea of a breakout room with an educational focus, Breakout EDU, or any number of names. We have a couple teachers here that know something about it and just really want to share with our local community and anyone else who listens. So um, I could turn it over and maybe you guys can introduce yourself, kind of tell us classroom, any experience you want to, and then we'll get started.
I guess I'll start. My name is Joanna Capinos, and I am a German teacher here at Southeastern Middle School. And this previous summer, I was a Keystone Technology Innovator Star.
Um, I'm Stephanie Coleman, and I also teach at Southeastern Middle School. I'm our computer science teacher. I teach 7th and 8th grade, and I also learned about Breakout at the Keystone Conference this past summer, and I have run one with my class.
And my name, if you can see me, is Eric Rupert, and I teach 7th and 8th grade math. And I had the opportunity of actually using Breakout EDU for my students, but I did not go to the Keystone Summit, but that's all good because the Keystone Summit came to me.
So if I could just start with how we heard about it at the Keystone Summit. So I was there, and we had a bunch of these breakout sessions throughout the different day that you could go to and hang out at, and one of them was on this Breakout EDU. And I have always really wanted to do those escape rooms, and I've always been a huge fan of mysteries. So I was like, I'll check it out, because it seems like an escape room, but for the classroom. And when I went, all the teachers and everyone was so engaged that we wanted more. We always wanted more. So they ended up doing 3 sessions on this topic instead of just the original like 1 or 2 that they planned. And the breakouts were engaging, interesting, and they just helped us with teamwork, and we could see how it could adapt to content. So everyone was fascinated and wanted to learn more about it, including myself, which is why I kept going to the breakout sessions and why I'm interested in actually promoting it here in our district as well.
Yeah,
Anyone else? Go ahead.
a little bit more to that. One thing, I didn't get to attend the initial session on Breakout at this summit. However, I got to experience going on my own and doing the digital breakouts because that's what they were talking about. Everybody was on them, and I was like, okay, show me. So I did the pool breakout. If you get a chance, go ahead and check it out. It's pretty simple, but it's just enough to get you hooked. And from there, I'm trying to come up with my own view on a digital form.
Yeah, and had the opportunity to do it in my classroom for all 4 of my periods, and my kids really liked it. Mrs. Capinos was the one who initially showed me how to do it, and I was like, wow, this is very cool. So I literally went to Walmart that weekend, and I spent mad loot buying all of these things. But I thought it's a one-time investment, and I'll have it for years. It's totally worth it. I did it not only here at Southeastern, I did it for the students that I preside over up at Milton School at Hershey. They absolutely loved it. My wife actually loved it so much. She's a teacher over at Southern at the high school. She brought it in and showed her administration staff for a bunch of students, and they loved it as well. So I see nothing but kids, like, they just absolutely love it. It is a lot of fun.
Yeah, as soon as you finish with your class, all the kids are like, "Can we do that again? Can we make another one?" And you're like, "Oh, it took me so long to get that going."
Yeah. Yeah, I told my students we can do another one as soon as you all write another one because I'm not writing these. They take a lot of time to write.
Yeah. And I think that's another thing you can look at if you're you should definitely do a few to begin with to get the kids used to it and to get the kind of idea to it, but that's another level you can take it to. You can always have your students design their own breakouts, and that takes some of the pressure off of you, but at the same time that really stimulates their creativity and problem solving and gets them to think about issues that they might not have simply think about when they're just sitting there doing a breakout or standing and exploring the room doing a breakout. Now they have to think about, okay, how does this work and how do all these pieces go together to form a cohesive breakout?
I hear talking about planning for it, and I can see the excitement in all of you of what happens once you do it or try it yourself. What would you kind of say to a teacher who is interested, that wants to do this? What kind of planning can they expect, or initial investment, or what advice would you have?
So I would say go to the Breakout EDU site and search the ones that people have created, because they're on there because they work. Somebody has taken the time to be sure that they're effective, and so I took the Robot Apocalypse for my class and ran that one, and then I went on Amazon and bought all the pieces I needed, and it probably took me a week every night trying to put it all together. I did break one lock while doing that, but that just happens, and you know it's going to be worth it. So now I'm excited because I have all these pieces and I can try to think of how I can use them to make my own. Mr. Rupert, how did you do it? Because did you push on the site, or?
Now remember, with mine, I wanted to do it with all of my students at once, so I had 4 kits. So everything I did I had to duplicate times 4. So it was very expensive.
The website is Breakout EDU. Sorry.
What's that? Oh, okay. So I'm not sorry I caught you, Steph, but I had to buy 4 kits, and I bought the bulk of my stuff through Amazon, and then the remainder through Walmart, because it was a clearance sale, and I'm all about getting the deals since I had to spend a lot of money. But I had to prepare 4 kits, and I would say the very first time I did this, no lie, it probably took me about 5 to 6 hours to prepare 4 kits, to put everything together and, you know, select the right one. Now, what's great about the website is if you teach specifically business or social studies or math, they have stuff designed for those. You know, there might not be 100 schemes on there, but there might be 20 or so, just enough to kind of wet your whistle with it. But it did take me a lot of time, but it was well worth it, because now the kids have the ability to write their own. I went ahead then and I created like some instructions and some rubrics for the kids, and I dropped it into Google Classroom for them. So that way, when they're writing their own kits, their skits and so forth, they have instructions. The EDU website gives us a lot of parameters to help us write them and help the kids write them. And if the skits are good enough and you upload them to their website and they select them to post on their website, I believe if they do 3 of them, you get a free EDU kit, which is $119 value. So that's pretty cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the Breakout EDU kits I think are $150, and I was able to make mine on my own through Amazon at about $67 a piece. So it was much better doing it that way. It's just knowing what you need, and it probably would have been easier to go Home Depot and actually see everything for myself, so that I knew I had the right thing.
We've been talking a lot about the website, and I just want to say the website is breakoutedu.com. When you go on breakoutedu.com, you can sign up as to be like a beta tester, and then they will give you the password and to their games. And all the games are already on there. They also have lots of resources, like we mentioned. They do sell the kits, but they also have a Amazon list pre-made for you that you can go and look at. That is the type of things that you'll need. They also, if you want to make your own game, they have, especially the digital ones, they have pre-made forms and pre-made things that you can already plug information with and use for yourself or for your students. And the digital games, like we mentioned, they'll all be online, and they're this same website. It's breakoutedu.com, but you're going to put a /digital at the end, and that's how you get access to the digital games, because you might not find them all on the main website.
Thank you. I know we've talked a little about how you feel about it and if teachers really want to get started with it. We mentioned a little bit about how the students reacted, but maybe if you want to go into at least those of you that tried it in the classroom, what were the students' initial reactions? How were they at the end? And talk about the kids.
Okay. I think I was the first to actually roll it out in the building. So I told the kids about it, like at the very first day of school, that we will be doing these. And of course, they were really excited about an escape room idea, because they all pretty much have heard about escape rooms, but they're expensive. To take a family of 4 to a real one, it's a little over $100, maybe 150, somewhere in that vicinity. I experienced one over the summer, and it was expensive, but a lot of fun. So then when I showed them the kits after I prepared them, which was about maybe a week or two after the first day of school, they were so excited about seeing them, because they're mystery boxes, and sometimes they're a box within a box. And I took them down to the cafeteria, and they could sit at large tables, and they could work there. But when they're walking by the table and they see all the different stations at the table, like 4 or 5 different things, their curiosity is perched, and they just want to kind of jump right in. And it just garnered a lot of excitement. The students then continued to talk about it after they left, and they shared with the other teachers on the team, oh my gosh, we did this great activity. So they were super excited about it, and I had no complaints whatsoever by any of the students.
Yeah, my students were the exact same way, very excited. Since I teach both 7th and 8th grade, the 8th graders hadn't experienced it before. Many of my 7th graders had with Mr. Rupert. So as soon as they saw the boxes, Mr. Rupert's students were really excited because they had an idea of what was happening. My 8th graders, I see them first thing in the morning. So to begin with, they're all like, "Oh, what's this?" and then as soon as they got started, they were really into it, and by the end, they're all out of their seats, standing around the boxes, helping each other, and really, I think it worked really well with my smaller groups. My 7th grade classes, I had groups of 9, and I don't think they were all engaged in it. So the next time I do it, I'm going to make sure that I can keep those numbers smaller.
I agree.
Yeah.
The website gives recommended sizes, but I would definitely keep the groups even smaller than what some of them recommend, because you end up then with some kids standing around and not participating, or maybe they're not listening to everything that's going on and they miss some things. So if you can have a small group, like when I did it, it was just a small group of about three kids together, and they were all like, oh my gosh, what's next? Or, oh, look what I found. And they were a little more engaged than if it was a larger group.
Obviously, our focus in education a lot of times is test scores and standards, and math standard, social studies standard, world language standard, national, local, it doesn't matter. Other than the standards, what other skills do you see this helping with kids? Are there any soft skills that this type of activity would really develop with kids?
It definitely works on teamwork, critical thinking skills,
Problem solving.
It helps with time management too, because they only have a set time period. If you're doing it in our IP period, they would only have 40 minutes. Many of the skits that are written on the official website are recommended are for 30 minutes. Now, if you do it during standard period here in this building, we have 80 minutes. But so you got time management, critical thinking, and if in math, for example, when I chose a math skit that was designed by a math teacher, it doesn't always have to be all about math. Half of it was on math and half of it was on other things. So if you were doing one for a language, for example, you could incorporate a math problem or two in it, and it would be fine. So, even on my math skit, it touched on some geography and some history. So you can blend the different contents together, and the kids are learning, and they don't even realize it. It's just a great tool and a great experience for the kids all the way around.
Okay, again, thank you guys for joining me today. I want to value all of your time, and I know you're giving up your personal time to do this. So thank you. Thank you, Ms. Coleman, Mr. Rupert, Ms. Capinos. Do want to give you one last word. Teachers in our district or teachers outside of our district, wow, I watched this. I actually sat through all 15 minutes and heard all these great things that you had to say. I want to try this. What should I do?
Go on breakoutedu.com.
Oh, join the Facebook group as well, because they'll post things if they find, like, if they came up with a new lock or a new skit, or they'll just be like, hey, test this out. And if you have any advice or you're stuck on anything, the Facebook group will totally help you out. I also, if you want to do it in your classroom, I also recommend that you try a few yourself.
And I would say that it's such a valuable tool. If you really want to do it and you're apprehensive about spending the money, perhaps you could petition the principal to buy one per building to start off. I would say that. Or if you're just willing to jump right in, you love it so much, like Ms. Coleman said, it's going to be about 60 to 70 bucks if you're buying everything yourself. But it is well worth it because you will have it for many, many years.
Some other classes have done like a donors choose or an Amazon wish list that they have invited parents to purchase items or like donate, you know, a lock to the class, which is only like $4 or $5 for them, but for you, when you're purchasing all these different locks, that will really make a difference. And speaking of locks, keep track of your lock combinations in a spreadsheet or on a bunch of papers that you keep in one secure area, because if you forget your lock combinations, that is a big problem.
All right, again, thank you guys for your time today. To show my support for the three of you doing this, drinks are on me tomorrow, so send me your coffee order for Rudders, and I'll gladly deliver something for you first period. And I'm going to post this, hopefully with your permission, to a blog post, so any pictures of kids doing this or any resources, I'll make sure I add the Breakout EDU resource and everything else. And hopefully this isn't the only conversation we have with teachers here at Southeastern, but this is the first, and I appreciate your time, and thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.